I almost got shot. Like this guy, he loaded a gun in my temple, he didn't shoot. Back then, Naples was so ghetto, it's so dangerous that we needed to rap. Look at the condition we forced to live in.
With 18 platinum records, 9 gold records, and over 620 million streams. In the Italian music scene, Luchè, welcome to the show.
2007, my first trip to New York, so Lil Wayne was trying to recruit some new talent. He auditioned me at the Vibe magazine offices in Manhattan.
You used to buy the magazine.
They say they want the old Drake, which is impossible because you cannot replicate something that you already done. You cannot relieve the same emotion the exact same way.
With Kosang, why did you guys originally split up, and how did you guys eventually come back together?
Welcome back to the MBH podcast. Money buys happiness, guys. We love you. Appreciate you tapping in as always. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, leave a comment.
Merch is out.
Yep.
Go buy some merchandise.
MBHTV.com.
Right. I've been waiting for this episode, okay?
Yeah.
Got a nice intro for you though, okay?
All right.
Our guest today began their journey in Naples, Italy, where his passion for music led him to form the influential hip-hop duo Kosang. His solo career catapulted him to new heights, earning double platinum records and a spot with Sony Music Italia's iconic Columbia Records. With 18 platinum records, 9 gold records, and over 620 million streams.
Come on.
He's a powerhouse in the Italian music scene. Luchè, welcm to the show.
All right, thank you guys.
What's up, bro? Let's go. Let's go.
Let's do a cheers to that,
I love
no?
it.
All right,
Salud. Is that really a shot ever? Not bad, no?
Warm it up. Warm
Very
it up.
nice.
Nice,
Very nice.
no?
That was the mango one?
Mango.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Welcome back to Miami,
Strong.
bro.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Like, I will never leave. If it was up to me, Miami's great. Miami's great.
You're our first
Really
Italian music artist on the podcast. And we're about 300 episodes in, so
Oh, wow.
you're the first one.
Yes.
Oh, that's dope.
But we got to start
I
big.
hope to be the first and then way, more to come for you guys.
But we're gonna have you back again.
Oh, yeah,
We
anytime.
do one of those, right?
Anytime.
What brings you back to America this time?
I mean, me and as you said, you said like you named my group Kosang, right?
Yeah.
So we recently got back together, and we recently like wrapped up the album.
Okay.
And so I was like, I really need like a break. It was a few months of very hard work, tough work. Like it was intense. So I needed like a vacation. But I mean, when it comes to me, and I believe everybody else doing what I do, vacations are never true and real vacations. So we here, we enjoying the vibe, but we brought the team with the producers and the equipment for me to work on more music,
Okay.
So I'll try to never really stop for too long. So we enjoying the vibe, we enjoying Miami, but at the same time I'm working, like putting down some ideas, we making beats or just freestyling melodies or things like that. We working with no pressure, but we want to go back home with a bunch of ideas,
Okay. And with Kosang, why did you guys, two questions about that. Why did you guys originally split up? And how did you guys eventually come back together? I know you probably said it many times, but for our audience.
The thing is that like, obviously, okay, don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't be fair for Antonio not to speak for him. So
himself, of course.
And obviously, we made like kind of deal with the record company that this question, we have to avoid this question because when the album will drop, we'll eventually have some interviews where we will be asked what happened, and we don't really want to focus the whole thing on the breakup because I think he has to stay between us. But as we say many times back then, we just kind of grew apart, or we saw things differently at the time. And that, I believe, that's all we will ever say about it, because otherwise we will have to go too deep into what happened. And I believe that it's very personal, and And as I said before, he's not here, so I don't want to speak like
Fair.
on his behalf.
So then let me ask you this then.
Yeah,
Let me ask you
sure.
this then. How did it get started? Obviously, like that genre, hip hop, rapping, that genre of music in Italy, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, recently has blown up on like a world stage, right? Like now you have people in America listening to Italian rappers, Italian hip hop artists. But at the time, how'd you guys decide to start this? And did you think it would be as big as it became?
No, definitely not. Like, I was actually speaking about this yesterday night at the dinner table, and I really don't know how to answer that. I think it was magic, because sometimes when you put groups together, like you take one person from this neighborhood and you try to pair him with somebody else as talented as that guy from another place, another neighborhood, or another area. But me and Antonio, we grew up basically across from each other. It was a coincidence, we're not related, we're just friends. And he lived across the streets from me. So, and for some mysterious reason, we fell in love with hip hop at the same time. We have like 1 year gap, we're almost the same age. And we both fell in love with hip hop hard. Like we really love the culture, and we took it from there. Like we were super young. I think I was still 13 and he was 12, and we started buying vinyl, CDs, magazine, The Source Vibe. Like we only had one little place downtown in Naples by the port, where we could find The Source and the Vibe magazine. I don't know if you remember those magazines back in the day, because basically the port was a place where all the Americans would come, and get down from the cruise and the ships. And that was the only place that they could sell those magazines. So we would go down there to buy once a month the issue. Crazy. And read about whatever was happening in the States.
Before the internet.
I'm talking about the 90s. I'm talking about 92, 93, 94. So, and then we fell in love with the culture so bad, and we were driven by this extreme passion that really helped us not giving up throughout the first, let's say, 10 years of grinding and really trying this thing out. Because back in the days, like hip hop in Italy was nowhere to find, and it was even smaller. It wasn't not even what you call a niche. It wasn't even that. It was non-existent. So and I always say that, like, for us not to give up throughout those years, it took a lot of passion and a lot of love, which continues to motivate us. Like, I think that's the fuel inside of me. That's what set us apart, my generation with the one that came afterwards, because they grew in an era where everything was at their disposal, right? Like anything they wanted is already there. Every information, we had to learn or create, be really like creative when it came to even recording. I had to really do my research for the mics and the equipments. Now you go on Instagram, there is people telling you what to buy.
Exactly
what we use for Drake, what we use for Kanye, we use this for Pharrell, we use this for this. So it's very easy today. Back then, we really had to go out there and do our research, which is the beautiful thing about it. And it started off with, we just wanted to express ourselves. We grew up on, 90s hip hop, and obviously we were growing up in Italy, but the lifestyle we conducted back then in Italy was extremely similar to what we heard from rappers in America, because back then Naples was even like tougher than what it is now. A lot of crime, it was.
So you could relate to what you were hearing,
and we could relate to that, even though even though society were different, but they were similar at the same time. So it's like everything that I hear from rappers is what I'm actually seeing. The people might be different, but the situations are the same. So we really had this urge that we really needed to scream to the whole nation, look at the condition we forced to live in. You know, it's so ghetto, it's so dangerous, it's so crime oriented that we fell in love with rap. We needed to rap, and we were like, back in the days, we were like, no compromise. Like, we do it in dialect, we do it in Napolitan. We don't want to hear about it, nothing about it. Like, we don't want to rap in Italian. And then eventually with time, this changed, because I was like, you know, I think we did all we could do in dialect. I want the whole nation to understand what I'm saying. So we eventually changed and, you know, switched to Italian as well. And that's how it started, out of passion.
But at that point, right? So you guys begin, and like you said, okay, so first you're rapping in dialect, and then you start obviously changing that because you want the audience to be bigger. You want to be able to reach more people. When you guys started, did you like what was the goal? Was the goal to be just known nationwide, like in Italy, or were you guys already thinking like we could maybe get beyond Italy? Like what was the thought?
No, back in the days, the ultimate goal was Italy, obviously. Like, but even now, I'm not even thinking about making out of Italy. Of course, I mean, you can, you know, your range of the audience can grow and can spread. You can collaborate with people from other places, other nations. So, you know, of course you can do that, but I don't think Italian rap could ever take over the world. I mean, you can spread that out. So the main focus stays Italy, remains Italy. At the time, like, it was Italy, only Italy, because us rapping in a dialect was already like a limit or an obstacle for us to actually be heard outside our city, because we wanted to stay our core, but we had to deal with people not really understanding what we were saying. Now Napolitan language is super cool. Like, everybody wants to speak a little bit of it. Everybody wants to take a little bit of our culture because it's cool, because it has a very strong street credibility and everything. So now it's a whole different situation. Now we have rappers rapping in Napolitan. They make it like super huge. They are like, they blew up like crazy. They don't need, there is no gap to feel like, and everybody loves Napolitan. But back then we were the pioneers of this, and you know, we faced a lot of issues, but it paved the way. So I'm grateful to be one of those people who paved the way for the new generation. So, you know, and Italian definitely helped to break through some you know, to some doors. I don't know what to say, but yeah.
In terms of growing up in Naples, and you mentioned a lot of crime and a lot of violence. Talk to us about that, like how that was growing up, and even why maybe you never took that path, because I'm sure there was many opportunities for you to get in there. And
I mean, I did my little things, but I always say that the reason why I never took that path is because of my family. Because my family, my mom and my dad are extremely well educated. Like, my dad is an engineer. My mom is a doctor. I mean, she eventually became a doctor in her 50s. But around, I don't remember. I think it was the 90s, early 90s. There were, what happened was a huge corruption case blew up in Italy. So my father just graduated from uni. He was trying to work as an engineer, but basically the economy stopped because of this huge corruption like case that was called come si chiama? Manipoli? No, Manipoli. Ho fatto, non sai tu, forse tu sei giovane. Ho fatto che la corruzione, tutte le buste paga, come si chiama? No, Manipoli. Anyway, it was a huge case. Now I can't remember the name of it. With the government, So the economy stopped. Corruption. So the economy stopped, and my dad became a teacher because he wanted to keep providing for the family, right?
Of course,
So he never really he worked as an engineer for a little bit of time, but then this happened. So it was like, this is too risky, because you are like self-employed when you're an engineer. And he became a teacher, and my mom became a teacher too. So teachers, they don't really make a lot of money, right? So they could only afford this place in this neighborhood that at the time was safe, and it was like country, a little country. It was, outside the city. Okay. It's still the city, within the city, but more outside. Little they know that they will build endless amount of projects in the next few years. So that area became the roughest place, I believe, in Europe at the time.
Wow.
But they didn't know. But that was the only thing they could afford. So basically, I was raised there, and I had them at home, innocent people, very well-educated people. They didn't know what was going outside. But I was raised, and I was growing up in the streets of that neighborhood that eventually became one of the most dangerous ghettos in Italy. Yeah. So I was conflicted. I had an example of two extremely innocent, very good people at home, and I had my crazy friends outside. You know?
It's like two extremes,
The complete two extremes. And I will never tell them what I will see in the streets, because I know they couldn't bear with it. They couldn't take it. Yeah. They will get too worried about it. So I had this like double life, but that helped me because I will never do anything to hurt them,
Of course, yeah.
So I was a witness. Like I've seen a lot of shit, and I took part to a lot of things, but I always knew where to stop. I never went like too far with it, and but that was enough because just being there and witnessing what was going on in the streets was enough for me to have this artistic urge to tell it and to put it into rhymes. And, so it was really tough. Like, I don't know if you want me to go into details, but it was
as much as you want. Like,
was really tough.
Was there one or
I've seen a lot of killings. I've seen like people being shot in the face, bleeding. I've seen like it's all in my songs anyway, so people that follows me, they know that. Especially in the Kosang 2 albums, that was always spoken
telling
about.
The whole story.
Yeah, that we were like we are considered the maybe the first gangster rap group in Italy. I mean, we weren't promoting the gangster shit, but we were telling
the story.
Yes, and a lot of like homicides, a lot of death, a lot of murders, robberies. I almost got shot one. Like this guy, like
you almost got shot?
Yeah, he loaded a gun in my temple. He didn't shoot.
Gun to the head.
Yeah.
But you're saying it like so like nonchalant. It was like
it
it's
wasn't
like
even
casual.
the first time. No, not casual. Like, but that was our life back in the day.
Yeah.
So and crazy. I many things. It's all. I mean, I wrote a book. It's all in a book. Like people that know me already know this. But this is the first time meeting up. So I'll give you a little background on our story. Like this was regular to us. Like you would come back home and you would sleep peacefully at night, because that was normal.
Crazy.
Like this guy almost shot me. Like my friend wanted to shoot him. Like it was really tough.
Did you lose anybody close to you from that crime?
Yeah. Some people. Yeah. Most of them were people that I just knew, but they were too close. Not like friends, because obviously like. When you live in a place where the organized crime is very strong, people that actually take that route, they hang out with families, people like what I mean.
Same thing, of course,
right.
Yeah.
So them, but I know many of them. I knew many of them, but I wasn't really like hanging out with them like that because I was always keeping a little distance.
Yes, of course.
Because you have to know those people, but. I mean, I didn't want to be involved too much. So a lot of people that died, I knew them very well, but I can't really call them like close friends.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But I had some close friends that did what they did and, eventually died. Like it was super tough. It was super tough, but I don't know. There is a little bit of pride in that. Okay. I'm a bit proud of being from where I am, like, because I feel like a chosen one. I feel like I was the one who was supposed to actually tell the world what was going on back then. So,
well, you're here today telling it.
Yeah, and I'm very happy to have had this upbringing.
Yeah. You think it like affected you mentally?
It
like
did.
It did. In a negative way?
In a negative way.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Because we felt like we were poor. even though my family, like we had two, what you call it, incomes, like in the family home. Yeah. But it was just enough to live regularly. Like I at 16 years old, I was already like hustling in the streets, not selling drugs, but I was selling like I don't know what you call it over here, but I was one of those guys that walk up and down the streets trying to sell you balloons, gas, things like that. I always tried to make money since the early days because we felt kind of poor. Like we felt like we couldn't really afford the nice things. And on top of that, like all we would see was crime and death. And it's always about beauty. Like that's what we missed. We missed beauty when growing up. Like the neighbor here, like I don't know, maybe because I'm not from here, but here when I drive through the ghettos, I see some beauty in it. Where we from, I couldn't see no beauty. Like a little kid that grows up in the neighborhood in Naples where I grew up, they grew up thinking they don't deserve better because all they see is just ugliness. Yes. Ugliness in people, ugliness in the way our people actually lacks in taking care of the buildings. So when you grow up in a building that is falling apart with a lot of like syringes in the gardens and people shooting heroin in every corner, and that becomes your normality, right?
True.
And as you said, like influence your brain in such a negative way because you think that life is all about that and then you deserve that.
Yep.
So if you don't really work on yourself, if you don't really force yourself into thinking that that's not you, if you're not mentally strong to actually do this work on you, you become a victim.
Yeah.
You become a victim to those circumstances, and that makes you think that you don't deserve any better, and then you don't even try, you don't even strive for better. It's like you accept that, and it becomes your normality, your comfort zone, and then eventually the unhappiness that comes within becomes your mindset.
Becomes your life,
which is negative. So I was a victim of that mindset for a long time until I decided to just leave, and I went to London because when I fell in love with hip hop, and I fell in love with the hip hop videos and the girls and the music and the lifestyle, and then I was staring out my window and I would see nothing
that you liked,
no girls, crime, poverty, and all of that. I was like, maybe I don't really belong here. Like I love to be from here because he gave me a reason to actually speak up and and try this music thing. But on a personal level, I think I want more. Like I want to live my life. So I went to London and I started off as a waiter. I was a waiter for a few months. Then I did other stuff because that wasn't for me. But still, it took a few years for me to actually realize that life could be different and
you
better.
Needed to leave, though. You needed to leave to see that.
I needed to leave.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So a lot of people that actually stayed, up to these days, I think they live in the same life.
Was that uncommon though? Like you leaving, right? Or let's say people from your area, like was it uncommon to just pick up and leave, move to another country or even another city within Italy?
It wasn't that regular. It was uncommon.
Yeah.
Not too uncommon because Italian people are known to be like immigrants, like to go places. But
for sure.
As far as my friends, I think I was the only one who actually left. I remember this guy came with me the first time, but I only stayed there for 2 weeks. I mean, he wasn't supposed to stay. I wasn't supposed to stay neither. But when I went to London, I only went to London for a couple of months. I was like, okay, I want to spend the summer there and see what's up. And then I'm like, I fell in love with the city. It was the closest thing to the States that we could have in Europe.
True.
And I fell in love with it. And I was like, I want to be here, But I kept traveling back and forth because at the same time we had the group, So I was already in the group when I was hustling in London. I was a con artist for a few years.
Okay.
So I was ripping people off in the streets, selling fake clothes and shit. So
Crazy.
because that was the only thing that allowed me to make money and travel at the same time. Because if I had a job, I wouldn't go back to Italy.
Yeah, fair.
But doing this thing, I was able to make some money, then come back to Naples, spend a few weeks in Naples to work on music, and then go back to London to make some money. And, you know, I did that for like many, many years.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, it took I'm still working on that, you know, this negative mindset that this baggage that I bring with me, like, you know, I'm still working on that.
But I think it makes your perspective what it is today, that baggage, you know, and your past. But I wanted to ask, even because as Americans and Canadians, you know, not many people get to go to Napoli or know what it's like. You know, there was a series on Netflix called Gamora.
Yeah, sure.
Gamora, you know, one of my favorite series, by the way.
Yeah.
I love it. Did they do a good job portraying Napoli?
Okay, they had a movie first and then the series afterwards. I was living right there when they dropped the movie. When the movie came out, I was living in Scampia. I had a place right there, and it's a place where, even though I grew up there and I lived there for so long, every time I go there, I'm like blown away from how bad it is. So me being from there, I'm still not used to how bad that is.
Wow.
And when we went to the cinema, we went to the theater to watch the movie, and I was like, yeah, but the reality is even worse than the movie.
Wow.
Really?
Because I'm talking about the movie, not the series.
Yes.
I haven't watched every season of the series. I watched a few episodes here and there, because one of my biggest songs was released during the I think the 9th episode of the second series.
Okay.
So I had to watch that. And I think that during the movie, they don't have enough homicides. They only kill people like twice.
Yeah.
But they actually telling like this crime war between family that happened around 2005, where like 200 people were killed in 2-3 months. Wow. So it was way more than the movie portrayed. But I was like, it's good enough for people to know what we live and what we experience. But I think reality was even more cruel than the movie itself. For the series, I think they did a good job. But as I said, I didn't really watch it all, so I can't comment on. But I think they did a good job.
Do you like the way that they've portrayed Napoli? Like, do you like the fact that, you know, people might think from the outside, oh, I'm never going because I'm scared of the crime.
Yeah.
I'm scared to get robbed. I'm scared to do this. Like, tell our audience what Napoli is actually like.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually the first reaction Napolitan people had.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God, this is gonna fuck up the whole economy. Nobody's gonna come here.
Yeah.
And I have to say, and people will correct me if I'm wrong, but I do remember that for a few years after the movie really blew up, people were scared to come to Naples.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I believe the whole city got together, and it was like, because I've seen a shift. Now Naples is way better. Like even the downtown, the Spanish quarters, the quartieri spagnoli, you know, they used to be extremely ghetto and rough, but now it's one of the most touristy attraction ever, because they turned every like little old restaurant in new boutique restaurants, plenty shops, plenty things to say. It's a very characteristic place to go, where back in the days it was all about prostitution, drugs, and theft and robberies. And now, actually, I think also the people that control the area, they are really keen of keeping it safe, because they invest in. I don't know. I think the tourism is now the new business, right?
Okay.
So it became safer, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's very safe, and a lot of tourists go there. The Maradona graffiti is there.
Yes. Yeah.
It's plenty people. It feels like South America. I never been there, but from what I know from Brazil or Argentina or Colombia, it kind of give me the same vibe.
Yeah.
So I think Naples now is an exceptional place to go. The vibe is crazy. It's a city that never sleeps. But the outskirts obviously are still like a little tough. But I believe that overall, it's a very interesting and extremely beautiful place to see. And I I wish everybody to go there one day. Like I think everybody should go.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect city, obviously. You know what I mean?
Which city is? You know what city is perfect anyway?
Naples is particularly like tough.
Yeah.
But it's 1,000 times better than when it was when we were growing up.
Yeah. And then I guess you even mentioned that you moved to New York for a bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, obviously in New York, I never really had a visa, so I could only be there for a few weeks.
Okay.
But I was going back and forth. I had this place in the Bronx. I live in the Grand Concourse, the Bronx, which is the after Harlem, I think is the first part of the Bronx.
Okay. And you and when you made that move, you already had some success in music already.
Yes.
Okay.
I did. I made that move because we recently released our first song in Italian with Marrakesh, I believe, and that went really good. So we started getting gigs outside of Campania, our region as well. So we started to perform more, and we started to make a little bit more money off shows, right? So I was like, okay, I still have to pay rent in Naples. At this point, like, I'm gonna rent myself a room in the Bronx, and all the money that I'm making off music, I'm gonna bring it with me to the States, because with the exchange currency, I would actually gain back the money that I spent on flights.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So
nice.
the same amount of money that I was making in Italy will be the amount of money I was making in will be the same amount of money in dollars.
Beautiful.
Okay.
With the currency we exchange, right? So I did this little math, and I was like, at this point, let me try be in New York for a while. Let me try to get some connection. Let me try to just be, a little away from Naples. But I never really left Naples. I was always back and forth, you know?
But that was like the first time, I guess, you stayed in the US for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
That was like the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
And at that point, like, what differences did you notice right off the bat from New York, even America, compared to Italy?
Oh wow, it's two different things. It's I mean, New York, I mean, American in general, and I believe in energies, and I believe in mindset and frequencies. So I think I know Italian people can get mad at me because they hate when you say that another place is a little better than Italy. You know? Like they are a bit conservative when it comes to our country. I love my country to an extent. I think there are so many limits and so many cultural, like, let's say limits in our society that I don't really see in America. Like every time I land here, something magic happens to me. So I remember vividly, like, in 2007, my first trip to New York, I went to the Apollo Theater in Harlem because Lil Wayne was hosting this talent show. I mean, back then we didn't have the talent shows, but they were trying to recruit some new talents. So they had a bunch of kids go to the Apollo Theater to perform for Lil Wayne to actually pick up the most talented ones, right? It was for a TV show. I don't remember. Anyway, I went there just to watch, And somebody from the crowd or from the production noticed me. Back then, I used to have cornrows, and I always looked mixed. And then eventually I understood why, because I took my DNA test, and a huge percentage of me is from Africa and North Africa. So it looked good on me. I was like, I love it. Like, I'm gonna wear it. Yeah. And they approached me and said, "You look exotic. We want you to model for this R&B, up and coming R&B artist that we signed, and she's going to shoot a video in Cannes next month." And they auditioned me at the Vibe magazine offices in Manhattan on a Sunday, 7 p.m. Damn. So I was like, on a Sunday. So basically, my third day in New York, I had this audition to model for this video clip at the Vibe magazine headquarters.
Like the biggest thing that could possibly happen.
You used to buy the magazines.
I used to buy the magazine. So I was like, this place is crazy.
Yeah.
So, and on a Sunday, so the office was shut. They opened the office just to talk to me.
Wow.
So I, he was in this super tall building downtown Manhattan. So you took this elevator to the 100th floor, and when I got in, the hallway had this huge Tupac picture, then this huge Biggie picture, and then it was like, oh my god, like I've only seen like on TV, right?
Yeah, a dream.
And I was right there, so we didn't end up doing the video because it didn't work out. But the experience itself taught me that really anything is possible here. You know, I didn't speak a word of English, just a few words. I eventually saw the video because they went for another guy. The video looked horrible, so I'm glad that I didn't do it. But the only fact that I was able to live that experience told me that America is amazing. And if you come here with the right mindset and with the right energy, I think amazing things can happen here. Because the difference between Italian people, I believe, and American people is that they believe in dreams. And Italian people, we go back to what I was saying before, the negative mindset that you grew up with, really influences your mentality and eventually your dreams. Where I'm from, it's because of crime and poverty, and you know, I believe for people from other cities, it's about economy and earning a little bit of money. Like the economy in Italy, like the average salary in Italy is super low, and they sell you that dream as this is the most you can actually aim for.
This is the best that can happen.
That's the best you can happen. So everybody's like, oh, I want a 9 to 5. That's the only way I'll be safe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nobody actually goes out their way for a better future because they are too scared.
Yes.
A lot of people is scared to try and to risk and to invest or to just do your thing.
Yeah.
Because the mentality is like, get a 9 to 5 and then you'll be set for life.
Well, you make enough just to live the life that you're living.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To survive.
Yeah.
But they actually sell you that as the only way out or the only possibility that you have.
Yeah.
Which I always hated.
Yeah.
And when you come to the States, you really breathe in the air. You feel it that actually, if you believe in what you do, it happens. It's just a matter of time. And this is, to me, the biggest difference between Italy and America. And when it comes to music, I believe the music generally is more important for people here than back home.
True.
Like here, like I feel like music is necessary in everybody's lives. In Italy, a lot of people love music, of course. Like my fans, like I'm super grateful for them because they really love what we do. But a lot of people, they think of music just like something in background to have fun
Something
with.
extra, yeah.
People here like connect. Like music is like a big part of your life.
Yeah.
Right.
Even
at every level.
Yeah. Even
That's why they say culture, right? Because
Yes.
of course, it's part of it. But I was even gonna say, like, even when I speak to my family in Italy, a lot of them are in Calabria, in Reggio.
Oh, okay.
And they look at me like I'm crazy because they just say, I see you on Instagram. All you're doing is you work.
You see?
When you going to relax? When you going to come to visit us, this and that? Like all you do is go, right? And they say, we rather have it like the way we have it, where we can relax, you know?
Right.
And over there, they work, bro, like 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day.
That?
They go to work and they go to sleep and then they go back to work for 2 hours, you know?
Okay.
But did you find that a lot in Italy too? Like a lot of people were like, oh, Americans, all they do is work.
It depends on what. If you go to Milan, they might not think like that. Because
True, that's the big city vibe.
People, they work their ass off.
Yeah.
In Naples too. In Naples, like we go-getters. Like we have a different mentality. Like we come from poverty, but we want it all. So a lot of people around me in Naples, they go-getters. Like they hustlers. Even Enzo, my manager, he's a hustler. Like in a good way. He's not doing illegal stuff anymore, but he will never rest.
Yeah.
Like he sees money, opportunity everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the way we are raised. But that's not everywhere.
Okay.
That's
but I'm just going to say, do you think that's because you've seen different cities or you already had that in you?
No, we had it in us.
You already had it in you.
Yeah. I mean, when you grew up around criminals and hustlers, they installed that mentality in you, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen everywhere. You know, the general mentality is like, I just want a safe job and I want to buy a house. Like I believe that for the most part, I'm generally speaking, for the most part, the main goal in an Italian person lives is to buy a house, to have a job, and to pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that actually that's debt in there. Like, you know, that's not you getting richer. That's you getting poorer.
Poor, yeah.
You know?
That's you putting yourself in a position to be poor.
Yeah,
for
and
a
a lot
time.
of people don't agree with that. But that's because there are so many other details when it comes to real estate that that needs to be explained when you say something like that. I mean, I just want to finish my sentence and say that buying a house is good as long as the house makes money for you.
Correct.
Where am I gonna live? You rent out a place where you live, and then you buy to make money to pay your rent, and you eventually buy more and buy more and buy more. But if you buy a place where you live in, you're gonna have to pay the mortgage.
It's debt.
And that's it.
Yeah. It's facts. No, you're spitting facts. And on the topic of money and hustling, like I want to understand, at what point do you really start to see like money from the music, and how many years was it between starting until that point when you're like, okay, fuck, I'm making money now, and not just making like some money here.
Yeah,
like
a couple of grand a month. The first big checks and the big money that I've seen 2016, 2017.
Wow.
My album came 2005. My first album was 2005. So it's been like 11 years afterwards.
Of just straight grinding.
Straight grinding.
Yeah, and what I wanted to ask on that too was when you were coming up, right, in Napoli, in music, did you receive support from the city, or did people say, "What's this guy doing"?
Are you talking about the hip hop scene?
The hip hop scene, but even just like everyone in general, once they found out, because why I'm asking this is because a lot of people in their hometown sometimes
they don't
get that support. That's why they leave.
Well, back then it was even tougher than that, because back then rap wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
Like no one in Naples was listening to rap, and we used to wear baggy clothes, and people in Italy obviously always been like
tighter
fashion heads, right?
Yeah.
So they will look at us like, oh, those are the weirdos, you know? So we felt like misfits, even though we were part of the same environment. Even people from the city were like, oh, they're good guys, you know, they wear baggy clothes and shit. They like music, they like the graffiti, but we were the same.
Yeah.
We just had one passion more, you know. We were passionate about one thing. They couldn't understand that. Then eventually this thing changed. But you know, people from Naples, one good thing about people from Naples is that they are very like human. Okay. So even though they don't believe in your dreams, they will still support you.
Nice.
You know, they wouldn't really then would you say cut your wings or things like that. They will support you to a point where, you know, it's a moral kind of support. Okay. But they wouldn't go out their ways for you. Like they wouldn't invest money on you or whatever, but they would like support you. Okay. But the scene was at first I don't think the scene loved us because we were totally different, because rap wasn't that street oriented. When we started, it was more it was different. Like rap in Italy was more political, like it was different. Okay. We came with this American approach to the music, very gangster, very hard, very tough. And at first I don't think the scene like really loved us, but then we proved ourselves with those two albums. They made history, so I think eventually we grew up on them. Like it grew on them, right? Yeah. So it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at the beginning.
How about your parents? Because you said, you know, both were educated, good jobs. What did they think? I mean,
good jobs. They were teachers, like,
but better than the, you know, being in a gang or something like that.
No, definitely. Sure, no, good people. I mean, of course. But they divorced when I was 15. So
also, okay.
When you have two incomes in one household, it's better. But then when one of the parents leaves, then it changes because the expenses doubled up, right? Yeah. Because you have to pay for two houses, you have to pay for two bills, for two, you know. So we got a little poorer. True. I was 14, 15. So
how did that affect you at that age?
I was happy because they didn't get along, and my household was a hell. Like I didn't want to go back. That's why I spent my whole day out in the streets, because I didn't want to go home.
Okay.
But they supported me. My dad was like, you know, get a 9 to 5, and then you do this music thing on the side as a hobby. Obviously, you know, parents, they worry about their kids, right?
Yeah.
But they let me do it. They never were against it.
Yeah. So I want to ask, in 2016, you said that was when your first like big check sort of came in?
From shows, because I signed my first deal with Universal for like, I'm not even telling you because you'll be laughing, for like popcorns and some fries. And, but yeah, I mean, at the time, like I wasn't really coming from these, huge, I mean, I didn't have this huge record of sales, like you know, it was so it's always been underground.
But what's the mindset at that point? But what's the mindset at that point? Universal comes to you, wants to give you a deal.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind at that moment? Like, and in terms of the money, did you see yourself as rich? Like, I'm rich? No. One good thing about how I handled my first money is the fact that I never blew the money on me. Okay. As soon as I got money, I invested. I already had this little pizza spot in London, because when my group broke up, I moved back to London with the little bit of money that I had. And together with my friend Coco, which is another artist in Naples, we moved to London and we invested in this little pizza spot, which is still open in Streatham in London. And when I started getting paid from shows around 2016/17, I opened 2 restaurants at the same time, one in Brooklyn in New York and another burger like place in London. Okay. So all the money that I was getting for shows went to the restaurant. So my lifestyle never changed. It's not like I bought myself a car. Of course, I bought clothes. I bought the first Rolex. No, I had the Rolex already, because when I opened the first pizza spot, I blew my first check on a Rolex.
Nice. There you go.
I had to do that.
Yeah.
I had to do it.
That's what we wanted to hear.
But it's always been, you know, let's make more money. And eventually I lost a lot of money too, because then COVID came. I was inexperienced. Yeah. I had one restaurant, but it's a whole different thing to have a little chain. Have 3 restaurants compared to one is 2 different things.
Of course.
So I learned a lot. I lost over $500,000 in restaurants, but
it's a tough game, restaurants.
Yeah, but I learned. I will do it again, because I learned so much. And then eventually life gave me back all the money that I lost, even more. So I'm happy. I don't care about money at all. Like money to me is just a tool to realize my ideas. So.
What made you want to start investing even at that time? Because even when we first met downstairs, as soon as we met, we started talking about investing. We talk about real estate, talk about cars.
I just can't stay still.
Right?
I just can't stay still.
But it's interesting because, like, you know what? Like, we've met a lot of music artists too.
Yeah.
And they're not too into, let's say, the business world or the investing world, right? So it was kind of like a breath of fresh air to hear that from you. So why do you think you've been so interested in that side of things?
I don't know. I think it's just in me. Like, I don't believe in doing one thing in life. I don't believe in that. You know, some people say, oh, you can only do one thing good.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. Yeah. I think if you are like a creative person, if you are talented, I think you can do a lot. Yeah. And I believe that investing in other ventures takes my mind off music, because I'm one of my flaws is that I'm a perfectionist, and being a perfectionist puts a lot of pressure on you. I'm extremely hard on myself, so when I approach a new album, I go through a lot of dark times because I doubt myself, or I'm never that confident that what I'm doing is actually going to work. Like, obviously the creative process is delicate, right? Of course. So having other stuff going on in my life at the same time takes my mind away from that, and made me realize that my life can be so much more than just music. It takes a lot of energy from me, but it gives it back
Yes.
You know, so and that goes with relationships as well. Like it's like you know, to me, in order for me to work as an artist and to always add a little thing to what I've already done, I have to live life. You know,
Yeah,
I
okay.
cannot just be in the studio all day. I am in the studio all day, but I'm also on the phone, like talking to people and investing or thinking about the next move. It gives me energy that eventually go to the
Yeah,
music.
you need the
True.
experiences, the conversation, the moments to bring back to the music.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
And I don't know. I was built this way, and I love it. And you know, it gives me not hope, but it gives me like another like it gives another side to me.
Yeah.
Because I
it's
will
another
always
purpose.
introduce myself as an artist. Like, hello, look, I do this in life. I'm an artist. But knowing that I can do more makes me feel at ease for when it comes to the future.
Even
because
confidence too, I feel.
Confidence, energy, a lot of stuff, new stuff to talk about. You know, it makes me richer as a human, not money-wise, as a human. And I think that's the best thing.
Yeah.
I want to ask you. I want to ask you about the rap scene and the hip hop scene in Italy today.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, like I said, at this point, the rap scene has transcended. It's gone beyond Italy now. A lot of Americans are listening to the newer artists and stuff like that. I'm curious, what's your opinion on, as in generally speaking, what's your opinion on the rap scene, the hip hop scene in Italy now in comparison to what you grew up on?
Oh, well, it's completely different, but I'd rather to be this way than what it was back then, because back then it was too underground. It was depressing, was no money. Like, you know, you even shooting a video was a problem back then. So I remember buying a camera myself because we didn't have the budget for a director and somebody who would edit the video. So we had to do everything in that. But even our first album cover, I had to learn Photoshop. And me and another friend, Gianni, a dear friend of mine, that still works with me up to this day, we had to learn Photoshop, and we would spend all night up to 6 a.m. in the morning to how to put these images together, because we did it ourselves. Wow. So I will never go back to that. So even though the Italian scene now is, I think it's in a good state. I think the crowd is growing and growing and growing. We went to, let's say, 4,000 capacity venues to arenas, and now we're talking stadiums.
Yes.
You know, in a matter of like 8 years, because 2016 was the pivot moment, or the tipping point. Like, it was the moment where the Italian hip hop, trap, and rap in general blew up. Like, for the, you know, throughout the whole nation. And so it's still a new thing, but it's growing so fast. In 8 years, we went to small venues to stadiums. Not for everybody, but some artists now are able to do stadiums. Hopefully next year I will do it too. But I'm already happy to do doing the arenas. Like, back then when I started, I was like out of the picture, but like extremely out of the picture. Yeah. So I'm super like happy about how the Italian audience is loving us, is loving the music. Obviously, like everybody else, it can get a little too commercial for me, if you ask me.
Sure.
But that's, you know, that's a culture thing. Like Italians, the lifestyle in Italy is superficial, you know, for the most part. Like, Italian people, it's about the roots. So, like, obviously hip hop here is more like, it's rooted, like
it's ingrained in the culture.
Like, people like it's like a religion almost. Over there, like in Italy, it's still a new thing. It's still like just music, you know. It's a way. A lot of people goes into rap to make money. Obviously the radios, we don't have like an hip hop radio, we don't have an hip hop TV channel, we don't have like, we have YouTube's channels and everything, but eventually everybody is always trying to deal with the mainstream. Like, we paved the way, and we really grinded really hard to create our own lane And once our own lane was created, it's like we want to sit at the mainstream tables.
Yeah.
You know, that's what happened. Like the hip hop lane wasn't enough anymore.
Yeah,
So
the
now,
next level.
yeah, and that's something that I do understand, because you always need to push yourself further in life, but to a certain extent. I would have rather us build our own industry instead of trying to knock at the mainstream door.
Yeah.
To break through, because the
takes
mainstream
longer.
we like, oh, come here,
Yeah.
and then they
Change everything. that
They
you do.
change everything, but they take your audience.
They take everything too. Yeah.
and they change it.
And
So
they
let me
change
let
it,
me
yeah.
ask you this. Let me ask you this. In terms of the newer artists that are coming up, do you feel like they respect the guys who paved the way?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and not to the point where, yeah, of course. But if you are a legend who doesn't do numbers anymore, I don't think they will call you for a feature. They will respect it. But you know how it is. Hip hop is a young thing, you know. It's a young people thing. So, and when young people reach success overnight, they feel on top of the world, so they look down to you. It's not really like rock music. Rock music, I believe that every new rocker would still loves like Rolling Stone and
Yes, that's
AC/DC, and they hold they like gods.
Yes.
I don't see this happening in the rap world.
Okay.
But there is also a lot of respect there.
Okay.
You know?
So in terms of the new guys coming up, do you have a favorite? Is there
Oh,
somebody?
of course. I mean, Coco is one of my favorite. Joelier is one of my favorite. I mean, they are amazing. Manuela.
They're both from
Joelier is-
Napoli as well.
Yeah, Naples. Yeah.
So-
I mean,
so-
he's with us. He's part of
Yeah,
our
of course.
We are all. one
But there's a
big
lot of
family.
people coming out of Napoli now. A lot of rappers, right?
It's a lot of rappers. I believe that in Naples, for how tough it is and how problematic it is, should have way more rappers. Okay. And the thing is that this is one thing that I like about the new scene. They want to burn bridges. They want to they want to go commercial right away. They don't want to, because where I'm from, like if you go to hardcore, I don't think you're gonna have like a grip on the audience. Like I think where I'm from, you have to be like very melodic for the mainstream like audience to listen to you.
Yeah.
So I don't think the new generation is willing to really grind and build from the underground all the way up to the mainstream.
They just want to go straight to
They
that.
want to go straight to the mainstream.
And they're burning bridges, you're saying.
And they're burning bridges because once you go that mainstream, you can never really go back.
True.
You don't look, you are not credible. And that's what happening. They want to burn, they want the hit.
Yeah.
They look for the hit. Therefore, they wanna start making money, performing at clubs. They wanna surpass. Yeah. They want the short term.
They're thinking
career.
short term.
Yeah, it's an illusion though. It never works.
Yeah. Do you think that Napoli has a different sound that comes out of Napoli with the rappers there compared to the rest of Italy? You think
Yes.
there's a specific sound?
Yes, it's not a specific sound.
Okay.
But there is one thing that I like and I don't like about the Napolitan scene is the fact that we have a strong underground root. You can hear it in the new upcoming rappers. They still sound like we used to sound back in the day, which is good. But I think they should improve their sound a little bit. It's maybe the only city in Italy where some rappers still rapping on boom baps beats.
Okay.
Which is okay, but it depends on what kind of boom bap you go for. There is a modern boom bap and a super old school boom bap, which is uncool to me.
Yeah.
You know, like you need to work on your sound, you know? So, yeah, you can definitely say that somebody's from Naples. The flow, some people share the same flow, the cadence. I think they should work more on the being more unique. You know, that's just an advice that I'm sending out there, but it's a lot of talent. Yeah, I'm not saying.
So speaking on that, how have you been able to constantly adapt your sound while still sticking to your roots?
Because I started off as a producer.
Oh, true.
So I started off as a producer. So the atmosphere, the beats are extremely important to me. And I always leave room for improvement when it comes to being creative and creation. Like I don't want to be stuck in the same formula that works. I don't like that. And the way I think about, you know, for me is like I belong to the generation that are considered like the legends. And what can I do in order to still be relevant today?
Yes.
Because now we have hundreds of new kids that you know, with a fresh sound. Like I don't want to sound like them because I'm older, and obviously it will sound ridiculous. I have to still be me, but I want to be a new me every album, you know? So I do that with always like surprising people with the sound that I'm going for each album. Because to me, it's like, okay, you might disappoint the crowd at first, but then eventually they get used to it.
They'll understand.
And then you surprise them again.
Yes.
So I never want my audience to expect something from me. It has to be different every time.
True.
I like that.
That's kind of like Drake, isn't it?
I was just about to say,
Oh, yeah?
it
That's very
reminds
similar
me of
with Drake.
Drake because I think obviously from Toronto,
Right.
so like we followed him like
Every album.
mixtapes
Yeah.
before, right? And so obviously his sound has continuously over a decade, even longer now, changed.
Right.
Yet it's still him, but it's changed. And then you
But
have
you know what
like
happens every time he releases an album? Everybody goes, "Oh, this sucks" for the first week.
Yeah.
And then by the next week, it's on every radio station. Everybody's
But-
because
but-
they need to get used to his new sound,
but
like
it's
you
always
were saying.
But it's always the people saying, "We want the old Drake." You know, that's the classic line. Everyone says, "We want the old Drake."
Yeah.
We like what you used to do 3 years ago. But at the end of the day, it's like to stay relevant to some extent, you have to evolve into what's happening today. And people don't like that. They actually, you know, there's haters out, of course. They're going to say that's not real. You're not being real, you know? So I like what you're saying because I think more people should take that mindset, whether it's music or anything. It's like, just because you did something cool for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, if you want to stay relevant for a decade, 10 years,
adapt.
15, at some point you need to adapt. Now there's ways to stay yourself and have the same energy you always had, but fuck, at some point,
Exactly.
you know,
That's key what you just said, because they say they want the old Drake, they say they want the old Luca. That's for everybody. That goes for every artist, right? Everyone, which is impossible. Because you cannot replicate something that you already done. You cannot relieve the same emotion the exact same way. You know?
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Of course.
One thing is the common denominator that you have to keep is how strongly connectable, if you pass me the term, your music is.
Okay.
Like, let me explain. You can try a new sound, you can try a new flow, you can try new melodies, as long as the final product is still as powerful as the previous one. It's only a matter of time before the people catch up to it.
Yes.
It has to be powerful. It has to really connect to people. It cannot be superficial. You cannot go from singing The Ride to something that it's superficial, or like, you know, The Ride. You remember The Ride, the song, right?
Yeah.
You cannot go that deep and then release something that doesn't connect and expect people to react the same way.
Yes.
People is always gonna be surprised at first, but if you do The Ride 2.0 with a different sound, but as strong as that one, you stay relevant.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So what doesn't need to change is the approach, is the passion you put into music, and how much you open up to people. If you keep opening up, and if you keep communicating your emotion, no matter if the sound changes, it will eventually connect. The problem is where you run out of idea, you are not as passionate as before, you just do it for the money, or you get stuck in a formula that you think it works. That's when you don't connect to people anymore, and that's when they're gonna start screaming, "We want the old whoever."
You know what? That's,
You know?
I think you put it perfectly. I think speaking of Drake, I'm a huge Drake fan. I think the reason someone like him, based off of what you just said, why he continues to stay relevant, even though his sound changes. He's so open about his life.
Yes, exactly.
Or that's what people are relating to.
Yeah,
so whether it's a fast beat, a slow beat, it's more melodic, it's more rap. He's giving you his life that you can relate to. And, and like you said, it may take some more time, but eventually the sound changed, but it's still the same energy he was giving you on the last album or the album before that, or whatever the case is. With that being said, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on Drake? Do you like Drake as an artist?
I love Drake.
Yeah,
I love Drake. I love Drake. When he dropped Nothing Was the Same, it took me like a few days to actually love the album, and then it eventually became my favorite album of his, right? Because we're coming from Take Care, right?
Yeah.
And that was huge.
Yeah.
And you know, when you drop such a classic and then you drop another album, obviously the comparison is due, right?
Of course.
So when I first listened to Nothing Was the Same, I was like, oh my god, this is boring as fuck. Like so
Classic.
slow, love songs, all that. And then I was around that time I met a girl that eventually became my wife, and then we divorced. So I was getting to know that person, and I was listening to Nothing Was the Same, and it was the perfect soundtrack to what I was going through.
Yeah.
So it took me like, let's say, a week or 10 days, and then I was like, oh my god, actually this is fire.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my god, I think this is better than Take Care.
Yeah.
You know,
It
it
happens,
takes time.
yeah. Yep.
Like powerful music
Yeah.
takes, first and foremost, a very soulful person to actually understand it.
Yeah.
So you have to have a little depth to yourself
Yeah.
to understand somebody else's emotions. And then the Toronto sound, which I love, is very dark, very
It's moody,
very nocturnal. It's
cold.
And I love it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it takes like people that experience that vibe to understand it. Like you need to be into girls.
Yeah.
You need to be into the high life. You need to be into dreams. You need to be into having a vision. You need to be into I'm a believer. Like you need to be into those things to understand the Drake sound. You understand?
Why, so why do you think though he's been able to get as, you know, to me, Drake is the biggest artist in the world. I don't care. I'll argue that with anybody.
Right.
I don't care, bro. I'll argue that with literally anybody on this planet. Why do you think coming from a city like Toronto, which was not on the map before him,
Right.
Why do you think he was able to get as big as he did? And why do you think he was able to stay as consistent and relevant through, you know, beyond a decade?
I don't think Toronto has nothing to do with that. Probably on a personal level for him, he gave him like for us, for Naples, we felt like misfits all the time because we weren't from Milan or Rome, right? So he definitely he must have given him like that kind of strength to be like such a believer, and you know, he must have but from the outside, like as apart from the sound that was unique, I don't think where he was coming from played a part. It was new though, because it was like, oh, this is Toronto, like this is the new sound, the new wave. Yeah, of course. But I think eventually with this Kendrick thing, it worked against him after a while. I think the reason why he's successful is because he was extremely open about his emotions, and his flow is extremely musical. The beats that he chose were like extremely moody but catchy at the same time. True. And he combined singing with rapping, and that only made these songs more appealing for a bigger crowd. But I believe that he really nailed every features or every song that he did for his first, let's say, 10 years of his career. And obviously his image even helped. And I think he's a super smart businessman, because even though he comes across as a very humble person, very cool I don't know, I never met the guy, but he comes across like super cool and down to earth. I think he's a mastermind behind the scenes. Like I think he doesn't sleep at night. No. I think he's always thinking about the next move. And he never took a long break. You never spend 6 months without hearing a new Drake. It's always dropping either a mixtape or an EP or feature. It's been super like aware and what's the word?
We say calculated. He's very calculated.
Yeah, but even if he saw a new trend coming up, he would jump on it.
Yeah,
it was quick. He's been extremely smart. But I believe the music was powerful because I think other than Kanye West, he was the only one that really made emotional music. I think that was needed.
Fair.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question to get off of Drake. Last one. Drake or Kendrick?
You're gonna break his heart?
No, I'm not gonna break his heart. No, because I love both of them. If I only, I don't know. They are so important for different reasons. So I will not pick. I mean, I listen to Drake a little more than Kendrick.
Sure.
Because Kendrick sometimes is too complicated. Even the last couple of albums that he dropped, especially the To Pimp a Butterfly, I believe that on a technical level is a masterpiece. When it comes to emotions and to relate to that, I found it a little too complicated. And to me, music doesn't need to be that complicated. It feels like you're trying to show off. It's like a jazz player that is trying to show off his moves, or it's like a singer. Then instead of like focusing on the emotion in her voice, she's pushing her voice too much to show how good she can be.
Yeah,
that's why I prefer Rihanna over Beyonce.
Okay,
because Beyonce is more virtuous, and Rihanna is more like. It makes me feel like I relate to her voice more than Beyonce, but they're both great. I don't know if I'm getting my point.
No, I understand. Okay, so then if you could only listen to one, Drake or Kendrick, for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
Probably Drake.
Yeah.
Probably Drake.
Me too. No, okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, we know that. It was clear. probably Drake. But I love Kendrick too. I think he's amazing. Just I just believe that sometimes his albums are a little too. Complicated.
Technical. Technical was a good word.
I think it's a good word.
Yeah.
Is there any artist that you look at in the U.S. or in I guess North America that you can compare to yourself in terms of sound and career?
Oh well, I don't know. That would be a reach. I don't.
No, reach.
Come on.
I can definitely say that I look up to Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Kanye West.
So OGs.
But even younger artists, Future, I love it. Sure. Even younger artists, even Tyler the Creator, for different reasons.
True.
Each one of them for different reasons.
Okay.
Like Kanye, I love his genius. I love the fact that he's not scared.
Yeah.
He's not scared to lose it all. He's not scared to compromise everything for his music, for his art. I love that. And I relate to that. But I relate to Drake for how emotional his music can be. I relate to Jay-Z for his hustler mentality and, for his coolness. I hope to have a little bit of each one of them in me.
Cool.
And on top of that is Tupac, because you need to understand that the when you are a teenager, the idols that you grew up on when you are a teenager stick with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So Biggie and Tupac, especially as a person, as for what he represents for this culture, really shaped my mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
But you actually did it. You actually did a song. What's the name of the song? We've been playing
Uguale with Coco. Uguale?
Non siamo uguali.
Non siamo uguali.
That's
Drake. That's a Drake beat,
yes,
bro.
But
we played that song 7,000 times yesterday. You have to understand.
We're like, yo, this one's better than Drake's. That's what we said.
We played that song, bro, for 24 hours straight.
Let me clarify this point, because a lot of people in the comments are like, this is Drake's song. This is Drake's
melody,
song.
the melody.
It is. Like, we did it during COVID for fun.
Okay.
We were in my house. We didn't know what to do. And we were like, okay, let's just drop a remix to the song.
Fire.
So the original song is actually on their beat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even the melodies, we just changed the words, but everybody knew that that was like a remix.
Of course.
And then it became popular, and I was like, okay, I want to put it in my deluxe version of my last album. So I was like, let's do it on an original beat, right?
Okay.
And but he started off as a remix, so I wasn't stealing melodies. It was. We declared it
on
as
purpose.
it was a bootleg. It wasn't.
Yes.
It was on YouTube. It was on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
We did it just for fun because we loved the track. You know,
We were listening to your music. I'm like, yo, that's a Drizzy beat, right? That's a Drake beat.
no,
Unreal.
but that was like a mixtape kind of thing.
True. Have you done that with other songs of his or just that one?
No, just that one.
Just that
I
one.
guess. Just
Fire
that
though.
one.
Fire, bro.
We're gonna do some audience questions now because we got a bunch, and then we're gonna do some fun questions to finish it off. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, the first one's pretty funny.
Okay.
Do you have beef with Fabri Fibra?
No,
No, not even close.
Not at all.
Don't know why.
I love
I
the
just wanted
guy.
to ask you about Fabri Fibra.
No, I love the guy. I spoke to the guy a couple of times backstage.
Yeah.
during
He's another
festival.
OG.
He's an OG. He's great, and he's a very easy person to be around. That's how I felt when I spoke to him.
Yeah.
Funny and super easy to be around.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Someone trying to make
of
shit
course,
happen.
Of course.
If you had to start from zero and couldn't make music, what would you do?
And couldn't make
And
music.
you couldn't make music. You had to start from zero and music was not on the table. What would you be doing?
to make money
Yeah.
or in life.
Both.
Well, I guess both, yeah.
I really don't know how to answer that because I was born blessed for one single reason. I always knew what I wanted. And really, honestly, like,
like that, I like that.
No, but that's something that it's very hard to explain because I believe that, and I'll be short. I believe that some people, it's like a religion. It's like a calling. Some people are born with this calling, and just like a religion, you know, when you want to become a priest, like you have this calling, and and music is the same thing. And
Yes.
I believe that who makes it to the level that I made it, and to even, you know, like people that make it even bigger than me, I believe those people had that call, you know, had this calling. And all the other people, they just want the lifestyle. I don't think they do it for the art. They do it for the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And eventually, some people will be good enough to have a good career, and some people will stay delusional.
Yeah.
So I was born with this calling in me, and that was the only thing that I never doubted for 1 second. I was actually speaking to yesterday at the dinner table. Like, I never had any doubts about me making it in the music scene. Like, I never doubted it. Like, I was never worried about that not working. So I never really had time to think about anything else. I will be investing. I will be finding other ways to make money, as I'm still doing now.
Yeah.
But I never thought about plan
For
B.
a
I
moment,
never had
yeah.
it because I in my head I already made it. I just had to work towards
Yes,
that.
yes.
Because I'm very big on visualization, and I visualize anything that I did in my life, accomplished in my life, I already lived in my head. So when that moment came, it wasn't new to me.
Yeah.
I was happy, but I wasn't blown away because in my head I lived it 100 times.
It already happened, yeah.
So I don't know how to really answer that. I would
That's
be
a
a
perfect
hustler.
answer.
That's a
perfect
great
answer.
answer.
Thank you. I mean,
How would you compare the old Kosang albums to the newest one in terms of producing it?
wow, that's a very beautiful question.
That's from Tijano. The
Okay.
question.
All right. In terms of productions,
And how difficult it was, maybe, or just comparing the two in general.
okay, I could say that this was the easiest album of my life when it comes to, you know, the making of it.
Okay.
Extremely like easy to make because me and Antonio, we never lost the chemistry, and that was crazy because we haven't spoken for like 12 years.
Fuck.
And then we met, and the day we met, I felt like going back 15 years.
Nothing changed.
Nothing changed. And what I love about Antonio is the fact that he like me, just like me, he never lost passion for this thing. So when we went to the studio and we approached the new music that we did, it was the same kind of approach that we had back then. And we actually told each other then, even though we went solo, and obviously when you go solo, you're not trying to do Kosang on your own. It wouldn't make no sense.
Yeah.
So you need to find your own new lane, right? So you experiment with new sounds and shit. And we really needed to make that kind of music again. And obviously, like, it would be stupid and it would be corny to try to sound the same way we would sound when we were like 25.
True.
Because we were really angry and we were really poor and we were like, you know, it was a complete different mindset, but the attitude is the same. We knew subjects, we knew goals, we knew things to say, but the attitude is Kosanga 100%. And I'm super happy about it. But, you know, only time and only people will tell if, you know, this new album will give justice to those two previous ones. I believe so. But, you know, it's for the people to say. But I can say that it was extremely smooth. The journey was really smooth. It was super artistic. And it wasn't about the money at all. It was all about the art, because I think the people that's been waiting 15 years for our comeback deserve that, you know? And we did it for them first and foremost. And then obviously it was great for business as well, because it's super huge, but that's a consequence.
Yes.
But we never ever spoke about money. We never did for the money. Like, we did it because we want to have such an impact. We want to make history. We want to continue make history. And I really hope this message will be passed to the people, because I think people in Naples and in Italy, they need to start believing in dreams, you know? So I really hope this album can actually teach people that, you know, doing it for a passion is actually way more important than doing it for the money. I really hope that, you know?
So then speaking to that point, for anybody, we have our good friend Vincenzo, YCV, okay? He wants to know, how did you deal with the haters at the beginning of your career?
Well, I mean, I'm the most hated rapper in Italy ever, I believe, because I had beef with a couple of guys, so I had their crowds against me. Every time I drop, they lash on me. Yeah. Okay, so I'm used to it, because even when my group broke up, everybody believed that it was because of me. And we never really said what happened, because I think that we have to keep it between us. So, you know, I just had to deal with it. And you never really get used to it. I am a little used to it. I'm just now realizing the haters are just a small percentage of what's out there.
Yeah.
Only once in my life happened that I read a comment, which is this is a crazy story, and I have the video on my phone. I can prove it.
Yeah.
I saw the balcony in my studio, and I was reading the messages, or the what you call it, the request on Instagram. Yeah. And this guy was like offending me, like he was sending me a lot of messages, like you ain't shit, you ain't even close to perfection, you shit, Jailier is the best. You know, I'm like, he's my brother, I'm happy for him. Like, so I was like, and this guy lived around the area, same area where I was at.
Okay.
So I went back home. On the way back, I met him in traffic.
Come on.
The guy that was in your DMs.
Yes. Like 15 minutes earlier.
Oh my God.
I met him. He was actually coming out the same alley where my studio is at, and I was entering it. I was like, it's him.
Yeah.
Because he was really big guy, fat guy. So I recognized him right away. So I chased him down the streets, and I stopped. I pulled him over. I got the video on my phone. I was like, why do you text me all this bullshit? Why are you offending me like that? Where are you getting from that? Yeah. And he was like, no, but I'm a fan, and this and that. I'm like, you know, that was the only time that I actually experienced a hater in real life. Okay. And for the most part, it's just comments. And sometimes it's 12 years old people, 13 years old people. So I'm now learning how to ignore them, you know? But being extremely sensitive as a person and an artist, I have to say that when you wake up with thousands of offenses under your comment section, it affects you.
It's tough, yeah.
It's really tough. It's really tough when it comes to keeping your confidence. Yeah. It's really tough because you be like, you start thinking, oh my God, they don't want me anymore. Or like, it fucks with your confidence. And rap music's all about confidence. Yeah. But I believe that I got I got all my confidence back, and I think I'm very positive about what's to come, and I'm pretty sure that I'm about to live a new prime.
Sick.
And actually, a close friend of mine who is Jolier's producer called me after he did the 3 stadiums in a row, and I was a guest to his shows. He called me and he was like, the way you were on stage, I can feel that you're about to approach your new prime, because he knows the music.
Let's go.
Because he produced a few beats on the album, so he knows what's coming, right? So it was like, and that call like gave me goosebumps, because coming from a person that is on my team, but he's not my producer. He's not my only producer. Like, he was super genuine, and it was like, wow, like we really love this music thing to the point where you can see somebody's success and be happy for him.
Yes.
And that was the best. That made me feel really good. So I'm living the best time of my life. Like, I never felt this good.
I like that.
Honestly, yeah.
I like that.
What has been the most rewarding moment of your career so far?
Maybe the first time that I did the Palapartenope, which is the arena in Naples.
Okay.
The first time, because that was a lesson. That was a lesson. Because, I mean, as I said before, it wasn't that much of an emotion for me, because I visualized it so many times that when it actually happened, I was like, okay, I knew. It was just a matter of time. But it was a lesson. It was like, you see, good things happen, good things really happen. So keep believing. When my group broke up, we went from performing in front of like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people to 40 people. I went to from performing in front of 1,000 people to 40 people. My first gig as a solo artist had 40 people in front of me.
Wow.
And then I was the first rapper to ever do the arena in Naples, which holds 8,000 people. Now we do, last time I was touring, I did 4 in a row.
Wow.
Now we do in stadiums and shit. So, but in 2017, that was the first time a rapper did the Palapartenope, which is the arena in Naples. And even though I kept it cool, because in my head it was only about a matter of time, it was a lesson, and it was the first step into leaving negativity for positivity. In my mindset. That I remember that time. It said anything is possible,
So let me ask you this before we get to the fun stuff. I want to know, what's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Fuck. I don't know, because I'm always the one who gives out advice.
You give the advice.
Okay, this might not be an advice, but this is the first thing that came to mind.
Okay.
I speak to these women often online, and we both are into soul research and psychology. And when I told her that I was actually going through the happiest stage of my life, and I didn't really know what to do with that, because I'm not really used to it. I'm always to be worrying about something, but now I'm all over the moon. I mean, over the moon, right?
Over the moon,
You can say
yeah.
over the moon.
Yeah.
I'm over the moon, and I'm super happy. She said, take that feeling and lock it in.
Yeah.
So, because happiness is all about choice. If you choose to see things under a positive light, then it's a choice. Anything is about choice. You can choose to be overwhelmed by stuff, or you can choose to see every obstacle as an opportunity, So for her to say, lock that feeling in, is something that I actually chant every day when I wake up. You happy today? Lock that in. Don't let anything take away from this mindset that you're in now. So this might not be the best advice that I had, but lately that was something that was told to me that really resonated with me. To be able to lock this feeling that I have now in, and to keep continuing living my days with this mindset, no matter what happens.
I like it too.
Yeah.
Listen, people
Locking
can
on
use
happiness.
that, bro. Lock
Yes.
in. I
Yes.
hear you.
Before we go to the rapid fire,
All right, get him with it. Come on.
I just want to know, you have some big shows coming up in Napoli in September, right?
Yes, yes.
What can people expect from those shows, and what are you most excited for from those shows?
Well, to perform the music, and especially the old music, because that would be obvious. Of course, a new album is coming out, and you perform the new album. But I think the craziest moments of the show will be when we perform the classics, because it's something that I never actually imagined happening again, especially in that venue, and with a new album on the way. And okay, we are still working on the show because we recently, gave the album to Warner Music, so we were focusing on the music for so far. So now we actually in the middle of talking about how to put the show together. We designing the stage right now. We're in the middle of that.
Nice.
I want it to be extremely powerful. I want it to be like. I want it to be. I don't just want it to be like a rap show. I want it to be like. I don't know. I want it to be like a moment where, like, I don't know. I want it to be emotionally very strong, very, very powerful. I can't really speak much on it because we're still in the working on it. But what I'm looking for the most is singing the old songs and see how the crowd replies to that, and maybe seeing the new generation that didn't experience us back then.
Cool. Okay.
How, I want to see how they respond to that.
Yeah,
if they did their research, if that music survived the test of time, which I think they did.
Cool.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay. We might have to go, bro.
That's what I was just gonna say.
We might have to
No,
go.
bro, you need to come. It's gonna be a magical moment. It's gonna be a magical
We're
moment.
gonna have to call Sabino, no?
We gotta call
Oh yeah,
Sabino.
Sabino. I was
Is he
with him
coming
the
to
other
roll,
day. I think it's coming.
For sure.
I think he's flying. Actually, he's flying for Fashion Week to Milan. He told me. So around those dates.
Okay.
Oh, so he either comes to Naples first and then he goes to Milan, or the other way around. But he will definitely come. Now you should come, guys, because it's gonna be like.
That would be insane.
It's gonna be
Say
crazy.
less, bro. Say less.
We're gonna talk off camera about that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna get into some fun stuff. Okay.
Right.
You want to go first?
No, go hit him with it. Go first.
Where do you rank yourself among the greatest Italian music artists of all time?
Oh Jesus Christ.
Quick.
Rapido.
I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know. It's still so much. I still have to prove myself.
Are you
I don't
top
know.
10?
But as far as rappers or artists in general.
Let's do rappers, okay?
Oh,
rappers
as
all
far as
time.
rappers. Oh, I hope I'm in the top 5. Come
Top
on.
5,
I mean,
right?
a lot of people wouldn't agree, I believe, but there is a lot of people who
What
would
do you
agree
think you
too.
are? What do you think you are?
Well, I mean, number one is subjective, right?
Okay.
Because you can be extremely good, then the taste take apart.
True.
Right?
True.
Because you might like a sound better than the other. You might like an attitude better than the other.
Okay.
So I believe that there are a few number ones in Italy.
Okay.
And
And you're
aim to
one of
be
them.
One of them. Yeah.
Let's
I
go.
aim-
Okay.
Yeah, of
okay.
course.
Okay, let me ask you this. What are 3 things Italian women do better than American women?
Cook.
What? Okay, number 1, cook.
Maybe.
Huh?
I'm not really keen on Italian women. I grew up in London. Like I was married with an English person.
Oh yeah, she wasn't Italian.
No.
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 So you don't even like Italian.
Everybody
women.
know that I have a thing for
So you don't even like Italian women like that.
I like Italian women, look wise. Culturally, I see myself with an American woman better than an Italian woman, just because music is so important to me, and I don't believe. I don't know. I might be wrong one day. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe tomorrow I meet
Italian woman,
an
yeah.
Italian woman, but. Generally speaking, like I don't think that music is that important for Italian women, and I could never be with somebody who doesn't really understand where I'm coming from, you know?
So we got to get you an American woman
So-
who can cook, though.
Yeah. So let me ask you
Yeah,
this.
because I love like soul food or like Jamaican
Yeah.
cuisine, like
Yeah.
What?
I'm
Okay.
open.
So how about this one? What are 3 things that you look for in a woman?
3 things.
3 things. Has to be 3.
Okay.
1 is too easy.
I mean, I have to feel extremely attracted to my woman, because I'm not a cheater, and I believe that you have to have such a strong connection mentally, but it has to be my type. Like if I had a strong connection with a woman, but she wouldn't be my type, I wouldn't go for it.
Okay.
He has to be the whole package. Like I have to feel extremely attracted to her because I don't want to look sideways, you know. I don't want to look somewhere else.
Fair. Okay.
You know, I don't want to cheat. I want to be with her. I want to, you know, I want
Just
to
be with her.
I want to be with her.
Yeah.
And so I have to feel extremely like attracted to her, and we have to have like a mental connection. Like it has to be the chemistry. Like you know, it has to be on my level. Like I have to sit down and talk about anything.
Okay.
And one thing that I'm looking for is somebody who's very calm and not somebody who's overly critic. Like, you know, I hate to feel like criticized all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I hate that.
I don't think you're asking for much, bro. I think it's...
No, I'm not asking for much. I just want a very laid-back person.
A 10 out of 10 that can talk to you.
Yeah,
and that doesn't go crazy.
Yeah, actually, and so my manager said, you look for a video vixen who's an housewife, which is because he has to look like them, but has to be laid back, cool, faithful, loyal. Like I ask for a lot. Trust me. That's why I'm saying.
Now that you say it that way, I know that is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you a little deeper question. What's the biggest mistake you've ever made in your life?
Plenty mistakes.
Yeah.
Plenty mistakes.
If you had to pick one.
Well, maybe in business, I made many mistakes. When I opened the burger place, like I didn't run the survey on the what you call it, the chimney, the extraction.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just bought this place without 20 years old, like extraction, which was greased, and it was like, and it got blocked after 6 months overrating the restaurant. So we had a lot of issues. So when it comes to business, that was a huge mistake.
Okay.
Because I should have checked it before I bought it. But I made a lot of mistakes. I had beef with a lot of people because I'm very impulsive. But you know, I wouldn't really take that back. Like if I run back in time, I might do it again, because at the end of the day, what's a mistake? You know what I think? I don't think nothing is a mistake.
Yeah, it's a lesson.
Yeah, but not even that. Like I think life should go the way it should go, because in 200 years nobody will remember me.
True.
So there is no right way to conduct your life. There is no right, no wrong. This is my life. This is what happened. One day I'll die, and that's it. Yeah. So I don't really look at anything as mistakes. In fact, I don't know how to answer this question, because I don't really regret anything that I've done.
Okay.
So
that answers the next question. So
yeah.
We're gonna that's perfect. Okay, who is one person in your life that changed it all for you?
Who changed everything for me?
Who maybe just changed the direction of your life, changed one aspect of your life of a certain year. One person that really impacted your life.
This question, this coming from the public? This coming from
No, these are from us now. These are from us.
Oh, okay. I don't think I have one.
No?
I never changed. No.
Nobody? No, in a good way. Like I'm saying, like maybe did someone ever push you in the right direction or help you make a decision? No? It was all you, eh?
Yeah, but I don't want to sound arrogant.
No, it is what it is though. If that's the case, that's what it is.
No, I'm too caught up in my own world that no, in a good way, not in a bad way. Of course, that
no one can.
I'm so focused on my moves and yeah, no, I don't. No, okay. Enzo definitely, Rosario definitely, Corrado for sure. Yeah. My family indirectly, because they let me be. But their presence influenced me, yeah, of course. But they helped me a lot. But I don't think there is one person that changed me.
Okay.
You know, no, because no. But definitely, like I have to give credit to my whole team and people that stuck with me through the hard times and the good time. Of course, like I received a lot of help. But they were there to listen to me when I was down, and that's the help that I needed. And they helped me think through stuff. But at the end of the day, I always I take responsibility on. Like I every decision that I took was my decision. Okay. You know, yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. Obviously, you have both of them. But if you had to choose and you didn't have both of them, money or fame?
What if I say fame? Like, what if I'm broke but I'm famous? Do I have another chance to make money?
Of course.
Sure, of course.
So I would say fame.
Okay.
Because you can find ways to make money when you're famous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
Definitely Tupac,
Yeah.
John Lennon, Jimi Hendrix, Kanye, Jay-Z, of course. I mean, how he goes without even mention. Let me think about some crazy shit. Lana Del Rey, Billie Eilish, Vasco Rossi in Italy, Lucio Battisti in Italy,
Legends.
Pino Daniele in Italy. Who else I love? I mean, a bunch of guys. Yeah.
Okay, so then listen, with that being said, all these people you're mentioning, we do this thing on the show where we ask our guests to manifest something for themselves. So maybe it's if in a year from now, in 5 years from now, whatever the case is. So what's something that you want to manifest for yourself in the future? Say it here because then we clip it back. When it happens, we can come back and, we say,
hey, he said it.
You said it and it was real and it became real. So is there anything you want to manifest
definitely
for
the Maradona Stadium for me next year. That will be, that's a goal. That's for sure. I want to write music for American artists. Okay. That's what I want to do. Okay. I know because I'm very big on visualization, as I said before. I know that if I really wanted to like make music in English, I will find a way to get a crowd over here too. I'm not saying that I will be like, I don't know to what extent, but I'm pretty sure that if I really wanted it that bad, I could make it happen. I'm not thinking that far, but I would be happy with ghostwriting or producing for artists over here.
Okay,
that's something that I love to manifest.
I think you got that. You're in the right place right now. That's for sure.
I was actually going to ask you that, like if you would ever drop a track in English.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for quite a long time.
Okay.
Maybe an EP, but it's a matter of time. Like not like I don't have so much time on my hand to actually work. I have to focus on my career because I'm lucky enough to still have like a career who's popping, an important career. So I have to fully dedicate to that now.
Yes.
But eventually, like I will take some time out to try that out, and that would be fun. Like I'm pretty sure, I did one song in English. I released one song, and this guy was a friend of mine who works at the Wimbledon Stadium in London, was actually playing on loudspeaker, and a lot of people from London who heard it was asking who that guy was.
Oh,
nice.
So I'm pretty, So he said, keep on doing it, and I'm pretty sure that I could do. I don't know. I think I could do well in English. One day.
You speak well. You speak well as well.
Yeah. It's the accent, though. I don't know whether the accent will get in the way.
No, it gives some character.
It could, yeah.
Okay, our last question, okay?
Okay, sure.
We're the MBH podcast, Money Buys Happiness, okay? Luca, do you believe money buys happiness?
Oh, God. Oh, shit. I don't think so.
No?
Why not? Is the wrong answer?
Everybody has different answers. Nah. Everybody says their own answer.
No, I don't think money buys happiness because I was depressed as fuck with a lot of money in my bank account. So so I don't think, but I think that I think money is very important. Yeah. It's very important. Towards this journey towards happiness. I think money is very important. Like I think it's a corny thing to say, but we need to cultivate like happiness within us. It's happiness about acceptance. It's about accepting who you are, your flaws and your limits, and also embracing your qualities and your virtues, but it's coming to terms with who you are, and coming to terms with this drive for perfection that this society is putting on us, which is an illusion. And but I don't think that you need money to be happy, but I think that money helps a lot, because happiness might come from realizing like an idea that you have, or like a project that you have that might bring you a lot of happiness, in order to do, which is an extension of who you are. Because if I realize an idea, if I make it happen, is an extension of me, right? And money is the tool that can help do that, and then eventually brings you gives you a lot of happiness, because you feel accomplished, you feel happy, no? So money plays a role, but I don't think it's the only thing you know, for happiness. I don't think it's the only ingredient to happiness. It's one of the ingredients.
It's the tools. It's one of the tools.
It's a tool, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And I don't think people should be scared of losing money. We should risk it.
No, we
should gamble.
Oh, listen, if you're on this show, it's because you risked a lot of money.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Luchè, bro.
Guys, thank
We
you. That was
appreciate you.
a pleasure,
We're going to
man.
see you in Napoli.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and we'll see you back on this show another time too for part 2.
Yeah. Amazing. That was great. Great conversation.
You enjoyed it?
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Now we're going to go talk some business off camera.
Of course. Of course. Anytime.
With that being said, Jay.
Thank you.